Hello. William Morris was, in the words of his biographer Fiona McCarthy, the greatest artist craftsman of his period. Best known today as a decorative artist and designer, Morris was extraordinarily versatile, better known in his lifetime as a writer and poet. It was Morris's idealistic, idiosyncratic, visionary zeal that fueled the arts and crafts movement. William Morris was born in 1834 into a wealthy family living in Walthamstow, now a town in East London, but described by Morris at the time as a suburban village on the edge of Epping Forest and once a very pleasant place, but now choked up by the jerry builder. The house where he grew up, now the William Morris Gallery, dedicated to his legacy, is practically all that remains of that suburban village. After attending Marlborough College, Morris went to Exeter College, Oxford, to study for the priesthood, where he met Edward Burne-Jones and made a lifelong friend. The pair were later caricatured by Max Beerbohm as Topsy, a nickname from the character in Uncle Tom's Cabin, and Ned, in the rooms they shared in Red Lion Square, Holborn. At university, they contributed to the short-lived Oxford and Cambridge magazine, edited by fellow student William Fulford. In their final year, Morris, Burne-Jones and Fulford travelled to northern France, visiting some of the great medieval cathedrals, an experience that led Morris to sign articles after his graduation with the architectural practice of G.E. Street. There he encountered architect Philip Webb, destined to become another lifelong friend and collaborator. After meeting Dante Gabriel Rossetti, Burne-Jones was persuaded to give up his studies and focus on art. Both Morris and Burne-Jones were excited by the pre-Raphaelite artists and their vision of brotherhood, comparable to the Arthurian Knights of the Round Table. In A Dream of John Ball, illustrated by Burne-Jones, Morris wrote, "Fellowship is heaven, and lack of fellowship is hell." Morris abandoned his architectural training after a year and tried his hand at poetry with some success and at painting. In 1856, Morris and Webb visited the Low Countries, where Morris was captivated by the painting of Jan van Eyck, whose motto, "Als ik kan," as best I can or if I can, he included in his first attempt at an embroidered wall hanging for the lodgings at Red Lion Square, now much faded and on display at Kelmscott Manor in Oxfordshire, Morris's country home from 1871. The influence of Van Eyck's angels, for example in the Ghent altarpiece, can be seen in William Morris and Philip Webb's early stained glass designs. In 1857, John Ruskin commissioned a series of murals for the Oxford Union Library and recruited a team including members of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood to contribute. Most of the work was carried out by William Morris, Edward Burne-Jones and Dante Gabriel Rossetti. Scenes are based on stories from Arthurian legend. Morris met his future wife, Jane Burden, in Oxford, and after their marriage in 1859, commissioned Philip Webb to design a house for a plot of land near Bexleyheath. A house in keeping with local building traditions, using local materials. The result was the Red House, now in the care of the National Trust, in red brick and tile, with a nod in the roof to traditional Kentish oast houses. The asymmetry is a result of designing the house for function from the inside out, rather than fitting the rooms inside a carefully balanced exterior facade. Having trouble finding the simple furniture and textiles he preferred, Morris, working with his friends, turned to designing his own. Using the experience gained and wishing to continue the enjoyment of collaborative working, Morris set up in business with some fellow investors. Morris, Marshall, Faulkner and Company, colloquially the firm, began in rented premises in Red Lion Square in 1861. Peter Marshall was a civil engineer and amateur artist. Mathematician Charlie Faulkner, another friend from Oxford who had assisted with the decoration of Red House, became finance manager. Philip Webb, and Edward Burne-Jones, who had been working as a stained glass artist, together with Dante, Gabriel, Rossetti and Ford Madox Brown, were all involved in designing products. Jane Morris and her sister, Elizabeth Bessie Burden, both skilful needlewomen, took the lead in the embroidery arm of the business. A prospectus was produced, sent to contacts and potential clients, and a stand was taken at the International Exhibition held in London in 1862. William Morris came from a wealthy family, but the venture nevertheless posed a financial risk and would force a sale of Red House in 1865, when the firm moved to larger premises in Queen's Square, Bloomsbury, with William and Jane living over the shop. The firm's first ecclesiastical commission was a series of stained glass windows for All Saints' Church, Selsley, near Stroud in Gloucestershire. The designs that transformed the business were created to decorate the Green Dining Room, now the West Dining Room, or simply the Morris Room, at what was then the South Kensington Museum, later renamed the Victoria and Albert Museum. It was the ideal showcase and led to numerous commissions. Of the wide range of designs produced, furniture, embroidery, textiles, stained glass and metalwork, arguably Morris & Co are best known for their wallpaper, typically complex designs, often incorporating birds, flowers and foliage. First to appear was Trellis in 1862, designed by William Morris with birds by Philip Webb. Fruit or pomegranate was another early design. This is Daisy, possibly inspired by some lines of Chaucer's from the Legend of Good Women. Of all the flowers in the mead, thou love I most those flowers white and red, such as men call days' eyes in our town. And by the repeating pattern in the background of the Dance of the Woodroses in Jean Froissart's 14th century chronicles. This bold pattern is acanthus. From 1864, Morris's wallpaper designs were printed using hand-carved wood blocks with a foot-operated weight and using natural mineral dyes by Jeffrey and Company, each colour applied with a separate block. In 1875, with a full order book, many of the original contributors pursuing their own individual careers, and profits below expectations, Morris took on sole ownership of the firm as Morris and Company, restructuring the business to focus on design, increasingly making use of outside contractors to produce wallpapers, carpets and some textiles, and opening a retail outlet at 449 Oxford Street opposite Selfridges. Next time, ceramics and the work of William de Morgan. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next video is available, or you can subscribe by clicking on the rose window over my shoulder.